Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule.
So quinoa has all of the essential amino acids. So in that respect, they call it a complete protein.
Continue watching to find out more.
Zdravo means hello in Serbian. My name is Anika. The people of aspiring Serbia wish that God's grace is always with you. Welcome to our program,
Dr. Stephen Gorad, vegan,
on Quinoa, Supergrain of the Future, Part 1 of 3.
We actually coined the phrase supergrain of the future. Nowadays you hear about superfoods, but this is back in the 80s, we started using super as supergrain.
Our 3-part program will reveal Dr. Stephen Gorad's journey of discovering and introducing quinoa to the world.
He has written a book about his adventures called The Quinoa Chronicles to document his many years of involvement in promoting this superfood. The book, History of Tofu and Tofu Products, states,
"The two men most responsible for creating a quinoa market in the USA are Stephen Gorad and Don McKinley."
Dr. Gorad, a vegan, attended school in the USA, starting with the Bronx High School of Science and then studying at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
He ultimately earned a PhD from Boston University and became a clinical psychologist. He did not feel fulfilled by this career path and thus decided to pursue spiritual practice.
As part of his spiritual journey, he traveled to the South American Andes and found out about quinoa. He was so impressed with this crop that he felt a calling to make quinoa a food that can be enjoyed by people everywhere and has spent over 4 decades on this mission. What exactly is quinoa? Dr. Gorad explains.
I think many people already know what quinoa is, but some people have never heard of it. And some people have heard of it, but they've never tried it, so they don't really know what it is. So the bottom line is that quinoa is a food. And not only is it a food, but it's a type of food that could be a staple food. So what I'm talking about are foods like rice or wheat or barley or oats. These are the types of foods that are grown on this planet that feed most people. So these are like the basic foods. The thing about quinoa is that it's kind of new, and yet it's also very ancient. So when I say new, I mean that people really haven't done very much with it. People don't know about it. I was fortunate enough to be one of the people that, quote, discovered it, because quinoa was hidden in its home countries, and nobody else in the world had ever heard of it or knew anything about it. Quinoa has been around for perhaps 3,000 or as many as 7,000 years. But it was only in the Andean countries of South America. The Andean countries are the countries that have the Andes Mountains. It's on the west side of the Pacific side of South America. So that it includes Chile, Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, and Argentina. These countries have the mountains there. And that's where quinoa was. Grown by indigenous people. There are all different indigenous groups. So the main ones being the Quechua and Aymara. Most of the people lived in the country. They grew small plots of quinoa and ate it and used it. But nobody else knew about it, except scientists. Some scientists discovered it way back in the 1800s even, but word didn't get out. Quinoa wasn't available anywhere else.
We will now pause briefly for a constructive message and return soon. Please stay tuned to Supreme Master Television. Welcome back to Dr. Stephen Gorath, vegan, on Quinoa Supergrain of the Future, Part 1 of 3 on Supreme Master Television.
In 1977, Dr. Gorath went to Bolivia and visited an indigenous market. It is there he encountered an Aymara woman selling something he'd never seen before, quinoa. After purchasing the grain, some time passed before Dr. Gorath tried it.
Some weeks later, I was in an apartment, and this is in Chile. I didn't know how to cook it. I'd never heard of it. I'm thinking, okay, it's a grain, and so I'm going to cook it like brown rice. So 2 parts water, 1 part quinoa. I left the cover off when I cooked it, and I watched it, and it didn't look like anything I'd ever seen before, because you people that have cooked quinoa, you see there's a little spiral, a little hook, a little white thing like detaches and floats around in the water. And then I ate it, and I swear to you, I don't know how to explain this, but I fell in love with it.
People call quinoa a supergrain or superfood.
There is no one accepted definition of the latter term, but the American health information site Medical News Today states,
the term superfood is a fairly new term,
referring to food that offer maximum nutritional benefits for minimal calories. They are packed with vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, but also it has the most comprehensive profile of essential nutrients.
The main thing was that quinoa has more protein than any of the other grains. So that jumped out at. But the other thing was even more important than the quantity of protein. It's the quality of the protein. So quinoa has all of the essential amino acids in it. Amino acids are the building blocks of the protein that's in our bodies. The essential ones are the ones that you have to eat because your body can't manufacture them. So quinoa has all of the essential amino acids. So in that respect, they call it a complete protein. But more than that is the ratio of the quantities of each of those essential amino acids. So, for example, wheat and all of the grains are low in an amino acid called lysine. So wheat doesn't have a perfect pattern of amino acids for use in our body. Same thing with rice. And then, we depend a lot on protein. Well, vegetarians do and vegans do, on beans. So like soybeans. Soybeans are low in what are called the sulfur-bearing amino acids, methionine and cysteine. So that also isn't a perfect protein. Quinoa has that perfect. There are many disadvantages of eggs, milk, meat, and so many people these days are becoming vegan, and rightfully so, or vegetarian. Quinoa is the perfect food for them. But it's more than that. It's a perfect food for everybody.
Some people have a gluten intolerance, meaning their body reacts badly to this protein
that is found in wheat, barley, and rye. Symptoms can include diarrhea, abdominal pain, headaches, and tiredness.
Those with celiac disease must avoid gluten as their immune system attacks and damages the small intestine when it is consumed.
Happily, quinoa is safe for those with this intolerance.
There's a lot of research being done. So people are finding out that the oils, the fats in quinoa, are also made up of essential fatty acids. They're also finding out that quinoa has a low glycemic index, which is important for people that are regulating their carbohydrates. Quinoa is gluten-free, which impacts a lot of people, because a lot of people, they have celiac disease, where if they eat gluten, they get very sick. A lot of people have gluten sensitivities, and there are whole industries now of foods without gluten. Quinoa has no gluten. Wheat has gluten. Gluten is a protein, and it's in wheat. Quinoa, none. But they're also finding more subtle, they call them phytonutrients or phytochemicals. Quinoa has antioxidant effects on the body. A lot of people are looking for antioxidants. It has anti-inflammatory effects in the body. And some research indicated that it's actually a protective against cancer.
Please join us again next Saturday, March 21st, for part 2 of Dr. Stephen Gorath, vegan, on Quinoa, Supergrain of the Future, featuring more from our interview
with this fascinating author. For more information about Dr. Stephen Gorath and his book, The Quinoa Chronicles, please visit quinoachronicles.com or facebook.com/The Quinoa Chronicles.
The book is available at amazon.com.
Breastflood viewers, thank you for your company today on our program. Up next is the life of Lord Mahavira, the afflictions and rejection of the divine help, part 1 of 4, on Between Master and Disciples, right after noteworthy news. May you and your family always enjoy peace and health.
Our programs offer many languages. Please visit suprememastertv.com/schedule and suprememastertv.com/HO.
Nos programmes offrent plusieurs langues. Veuillez visiter suprememastertv.com/schedule et suprememastertv.com/HL.
Nuestros programas ofrecen varios idiomas. Visiten suprememastertv.com/schedule y suprememastertv.com/HL.
Rancangan kami menawarkan banyak bahasa. Sila kunjungi suprememastertv.com/kehadapan schedule dan suprememastertv.com/kehadapan HL